Okay, let's start the lecture. So this is going to be the introduction to this course, to the university, to the department, to the school, to all of the regulations. Now I can see your application. Yes. Okay, so I hope that you hear my voice. Do you hear me?
Yes, we are hearing.
Okay, so during the lecture, I would like to ask you to mute your microphone, but if you have any questions, please feel free to ask questions. So I really like when our lectures are very interactive, especially the first one, when we are going to talk a lot about the rules and regulations. I think it's really important to set up all of this negotiations in the beginning. So my name is dr. Ahmath, so I'm going to teach mathematical courses and physical courses at this university. So in this semester, I'm going to teach pre-calculus for you, and I'm also going to teach the course which is called biophysics 2 for the medical students. So I would like to briefly tell you about my educational and career background. So I got my bachelor's from the National University of Uzbekistan, which is in Tashkent, at the Department of Applied Mathematics and Computer Science. So this is very similar to what you are going to study in this program. So lots of computer science subjects with fundamentals of mathematical subjects. So then I've got my master's degree from the University of Granada, so which is in Spain. So in the same program, which is called like Applied Mathematics and Computer Science, where I also used to work at the Institute of Water, where we try to simulate the water motions using some computer programs. Do you know something which is called like a PDE?
Yes.
What is this?
Doctor degree.
PDE. PDE.
PTE.
Yes, PDE. Okay, so this is like partial derivatives, partial differential equations. Okay, so many things around us can be explained using PDEs, partial differential equations. Like for example, how the turbulent of the airplanes are moving. How, for example, the air tension is calculated for the cars. For example, the shape of these sport cars are actually calculated, so in order to decrease the air tension, right? Or for example, how the water is moved and so on. So all of these things can be explained using some mathematical models. And we are going to use something which is called the partial differential equations in order to explain those things. And we're going to use computers actually in order to solve this kind of partial differential equations. So I hope that at some point you're going to be able to do this kind of things as well after a couple of years. And then I've studied in Germany, in the Technical University of Aachen. So again, this was the program which is called Computational Engineering Science. And it was again the combination of mathematics and computer science when we tried to simulate many things. And in particular, we simulated the radiotherapy, so how to treat the cancer using the radiotherapy. So especially when we did like 2D or 3D animations of how the radioactive beams are going to interact with the human body or human organs and how exactly they are going to kill the cancer cells. So I was teaching during my study years in Spain as well, but I was officially teaching in Germany. So some of the courses, mathematical courses like partial differential equations or the optimization courses or the numerical methods. And I was teaching some courses at the Inha University as well, like essentially all of the mathematical courses, like starting from Calculus 1, Calculus 2, linear algebra, statistics, probability, theory, and so on. And I'm going to teach all of the subjects here at this university, at this program as well. So if you have any questions about this kind of subjects, feel free to contact me. We can discuss this very freely. So if you would like to know more about me and all of the other faculty members, please visit akfauniversity.org/faculty, where you can find the personal web pages of all of the faculty members. And if you are interested in research area or the educational area of some of the professor, please feel free to contact with him. So we are here to give you advices how to build your successful career. So I would like to ask you a couple of more things. So in this university life is slightly different. So first of all, I need to mention that I have some throat sick because I was in the orientation and it was really cold there. So I would like to kindly ask you that in this university, we would like to so I've been studying in many universities. So I teach some of the courses, like I work at universities in USA, in Germany, in India, in Spain, in Italy. And I've seen many different university atmospheres. And what we want here is we would like to build a similar university atmosphere here at this university, where students are going to be respectful to each other and to their professor. They are going to be fair. They're going to fairly and transparently are going to take the exams. And also they're going to be very disciplined. So from all of our side, so professors are also going to treat students in the same way. So with the respect, with a fair transparency, and are going to teach their lectures in a very disciplined way. So one of the main rules in this university is how you're going to call your professors. So I would like to ask you to call all of your instructors, lecturers, TAs as professors. Okay, so if you can call them either professor, either doctor. Okay, depending on whether professor has a degree, but if not, just then called it him or her professor. Okay, so this is the main rule. So especially we've got lots of international faculty members and we're going to have lots of international students. So it is always better to make this kind of small rules. So in order to create really amazing atmosphere at this university. So if you would like to contact with a professor, actually, you need to write him an email. So this is the best way to write. So don't use the Telegram. Okay. So if you would like to, so during this couple of weeks when we are studying online, you should follow your timetable using this web page. So from my experience of teaching at this university and from other universities as well, I can tell you that as a rule, timetable changes a lot. So it may suddenly change every day. So we try to keep the changes. So we're trying to make the changes once per week. But if the timetable is changed like every day, so you please be sure to go to the lectures properly. In order to do this, please go to this webpage as often as possible. So every day in the morning, at least in the beginning, couple of weeks, because until we set up everything, it's usually like this in all of the universities. So you need to go to this webpage, check your timetable, and go to to your lectures accordingly, and you can get the Zoom links from the Google Classroom. Okay. Cool. So I would like to explain you a couple of things about the university rules. And if you have any questions about how your grades are going to calculate it, how the scholarships are assigned, what is the GPA, how we are going to evaluate you in every course, I'm really glad and happy to answer your questions regarding all of these things. So as a rule, this kind of things should be explained during the orientation day, but our orientation day was a little bit in different format, so that we decided to do this in the lectures. So every semester lasts for 16 weeks, and 1 year, academic year, is 32 weeks. It means that we're going to have 16 weeks of the lectures, and then you are going to have 1 month of break before the spring semester starts, and then again 16 weeks of the lectures, and then you're going to have a couple of months of the breaks during the summer if you don't fail the courses. So as a rule, so we plan to create some summer semester courses as well, but I'm not sure how it is going to be. So maybe in a couple of years, okay? But as a rule, you are free during the summer. The academic calendar can be found in the university webpage. If you go to the university, press the academics, there'll be academic calendar where we announce all of the plans and all of the calendar for 1 year ahead. And if you would like to plan something next summer, please free to plan this just using that calendar. We're going to follow that calendar. Okay. So in that calendar, you can find when you're going to have exams exactly, when your semester starts, when it finishes, and everything else. So when I used to study in Uzbek University, I really hated this part where I didn't really know when I'm going to have exams, because usually like you come to the lecture and professor say, oh, today we're going to have exam. So we try to make the plans for 1 year ahead, where we are going to announce that your exam, for example, is going to be after 8 weeks from now. Okay, so every course is different. So it has something which is called the credit units, which is how much you should spend for a particular course every week. Okay, so this is what is called credit units, which is not so difficult actually, which is super easy, but which is very important at the same time. Those credit units are required. So when I used to study in my university, we never had this credit units. And when I finished university, I really struggled to transfer my subjects, my grades into the European credit system or into the USA credit system. So it is really important to take the note on the credit system and understand this. So as a rule in this university, 1 hour of the lecture corresponds to the 1 credit unit, and 2 hours of the tutorials corresponds to 1 credit. For example, in this subject, we're going to have 2 hours of the lectures and 2 hours of the tutorials per week. Can you tell me how many credits is this?
I think 3 credit units.
3, right? Because 2 tutorials is going to be 1 credit. And this is going to be 2 credits, right? Okay, so depending on the program here, so you're going to have different number of the credits. For this program, I think it's less than 20 credits per semester. It means that you're going to have less than 20 lecture hours every week. But for example, for medical school, it might be even 23 credits. It's going to be like 1.5 times more than yours. So do you know what happens when you fail the course?
Flunk?
No. So I really encourage you to ask questions. I hope that you understand my English, me. If not, please stop. Please feel free, because you know, like when I when I studied my bachelor's, I used to go to different other universities in Europe, and I thought I know English really good, so I could speak in English really good. And when I came to the lectures first time, I couldn't understand anything, even though my English was good. So that's why I would like to tell you that knowing English is something different than understanding the lectures. So I understand this feeling. So if you feel the same, please feel free to stop and ask any questions you have. Okay?
Okay.
So what happens when you fail the course?
Just we need to
Automatically?
study again.
You need to study this again. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to mute you again. So all of the courses are connected between each other. For example, the course Precalculus is connected with Calculus 1, which is going to be connected with Calculus 2, and so on. So we call this as prerequisite. So for example, when you start Calculus 1, it is prerequisited. It is required that you have already passed from the pre-calculus. The same as with statistics. For example, when you start the statistics course, I think it is going to be next year for you. So you need to finish pre-calculus, okay, successfully. If not, you cannot take that course. Okay, so this is something which is called the prerequisite. And if you fail, for example, pre-calculus, you cannot take calculus 1 or statistics. Okay, and what you have to do is you need to retake this course. So it means that we usually offer pre-calculus only in fall semester. You cannot take calculus 1 next semester. Instead, you just skip this. Then you're going to come back next fall semester and retake the pre-calculus again with the new freshman students next year. You're going to come to all of the lectures. You're going to solve all of the assignments. You're going to solve all of the exercises and exams. And then you're going to get your grade again. And then you're going to be qualified to go to the calculus 1. You need to retake the calculus 1 with freshmen and so on. So I would really suggest you to do not fail this course. Okay. But it happens, it is like failing the course in this university, I think it's like, it happens. It is something which may happen. You don't need to stress this really out, but it is better not to fail this. If you fail more than 3 courses in 1 semester, you're going to be really in a trouble because you cannot go to the next grade at all. So we have 4 grades. Do you remember the names of the grades?
A, B, C.
No. I mean grade. I mean the years. So for example, you are freshmen now because you are in the year 1. Year 2 students are called sophomore students. I'm going to write this, right? Freshman, sophomore, junior, and then senior. Okay, so this is the first year, second year, third year, and fourth year. Now you're a freshman. If you fail more than 3 courses, you are not going to proceed to the next level, to the next year. Okay. Instead, what you have to do is you need to repeat all of the subjects in 1 semester. What does it mean? It means that, for example, in this semester, you're going to have five courses, right? Are you going to have 5 courses? It's like, how many courses do you have this semester? You don't know. You have pre-calculus, you have linear algebra, you have ICT tools and systems, you have English,
Computer programming.
and computer programming, 5 subjects. Okay. If you fail 3 or more, you have to repeat all of the subjects again. You cannot go to the next semester or next year. Okay. So for example, you failed English, ICT tools, and for example, the computer programming, right? And you didn't fail pre-calculus and linear algebra, but you still have to retake them again if you're in flunk. Okay, do you understand what does it mean, the flunk? So
Yes.
we are introducing all of these rules in order to make your life even more difficult. So students' life is difficult, and all of these rules makes this even more difficult. But if you're saying that your life is difficult, please always remember that students of medical schools are even more stressed position, because if they fail just 1 subject, they're going to be in flunk, and they have to repeat all of the subjects in 1 year, in the whole year, not in just semester. Okay, so it is, so again, so you need to understand there are 2 programs in medical school. This is the pre-medical studies, the first 2 years, where all of the things are going to be very much similar to yours. And then from the 3rd year, they're going to start the real medical subjects. From there, they cannot fail any subject. If they fail, they have to just simply repeat all of the other subjects as well. Okay, this is what is called the flunk. So we also have something which is called the academic warning. So depending on your GPA is your average grade for every semester. If your GPA is lower than 1.7 in a semester, you're going to be warned officially by the letter. And if you get this kind of warning 3 times, you are going to be dismissal from the university. It means that in any 3 semesters during your studies, you've got GPA lower than 1.7, it means that you're in trouble. Okay. Attendance is important because you need to come to every lecture, and we're going to track your attendance, and we're going to do okay. I need to mention that I used to work in many different universities as well, and this university is the most digitalized, actually. So many things. So we used to have our lectures offline, even during pandemic, actually. We offer this in the hybrid mode. So now we're just doing this online for a couple of weeks, but once we come back to the offline, to the campus, you will see that everything is going to be digitalized, starting your assignments, exams, your life, your lectures, everything is going to be in digital mode. So we are not really using papers, okay? So similarly, we are not going to track your attendance on the paper. We've created the Google Sheets, which is going to be shared with you, with the academic affairs, and with the system, with the grading system. And we're going to track your attendance every lecture. And if you miss more than 25% of the lecture, you're going to fail the scores automatically. So let's assume that you've got 2 lectures on Precalculus every week. How many lectures you're going to have in 1 year, in 1 semester, sorry?
I think 16.
2 lectures every week in 1 semester. How many lectures?
16 lectures.
64.
32,
64.
32,
Uh, so-
32. 32, right?
Yeah,
2 lectures every week, right? Multiply to the number of the weeks, which is 16. There are 32 lectures. What is going to be 25% of the 32?
8.
8, okay? This is the exactly 25% of all of the lectures for our course, but you can do this kind of calculations for all the other courses as well. It means that if you miss 8 or more lectures in this course, you're going to fail this course automatically. Okay. We are going to have only 16 tutorials because tutorials last 2 hours. Okay. So, and if you miss more than 4 tutorials, 4 or more tutorials, you are going to fail this course automatically. Okay. So we're talking about too much. Can I go and bring some water, please?
Sure.
Okay, let's continue. Do you know anything about how we put your grades, or how your grades are put in other universities?
No idea.
No idea. Okay, so it is really a relative system. So it means that your grade depends on your position. Okay, it means that once the course is finished, we are going to sort all of the students depending on the points they've got in one course. For example, in this course, maximum you may get 100 points. And if you get, for example, 90 points, and if you're first, you're going to get simply 5. Okay, but if you've got like, again, it really depends on your position, not on your absolute grade. You may get, for example, 60, but you're going to be the first in the course. You still get 5 or 8. Okay, it really depends on your position. So that is what I mean. It's a really good system because it encourages students to make the competition between each other. So you need to always study better and better, because you need to be the first in order to get the good grades. The number of the good grades is limited. Okay. So I used to work in different universities, and we usually at other universities, professors assign the grades by himself. So at the end of the semester, professor gets all of the grades and then put the grades A, B, C, D, and fail. So while here in this university, we try to make this automatically. Okay, so all of the grades are assigned by the system. And I'm just going to briefly explain you how the system works. So we are going to fail all of the students who got less than 30% of the maximum grade, or less than the cut line. We're going to calculate the cut line by taking 30% of the maximum grade. For example, let's assume that the class has 12 students and the student Z has got 90 points. What is going to be 30% from the 90? %30 from the 90. Are you here?
Yes.
27.
27.
27. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to simply cut the line, which is going to be passing line or failing line. Every student who's got less than 27, which is 30% of the maximum, is going to fail the course. Okay. Even though, for example, even though some student has got 26.9, which is like 0.1 less than the cut passing line, still is going to fail this course because it is calculated automatically. Once we have collected all of your points and grades during one semester, we just input this into the system, and system automatically assigns the grades for all of the students automatically. Okay, so please be sure that but as a rule, there are students always who get who get maximum grades, who get like 95 or 98 or 100. So that is why the passing line is more or less always 30. Okay, so I can tell you from my experience, I taught a course of statistics last semester, and 55% of students fail this course. 55%. Like number of the students was 120, I think, and 55, so 65 students, I think, failed the course. Okay, so I think you need to take this serious. But if all of the students have got more than this cutting line, more than 27, no one fails. Okay, so I wish that in our course no one is going to fail this course, because pre-calculus is the foundation course, which is going to be taught for all of the other departments as well. And it is going to be prerequisites to so many subjects, so that if you fail the pre-calculus, you can't really continue with other courses. Okay. So you may ask me how we are going to assign other grades. So there are 4 grades, A, B, C, D. Okay. We are going to assign them depending on your position as well. Well, the first 20% of the students are going to get A. So in this class, which students are going to get A?
Student Z.
And why? Yes. The
Because
two students, yes, because they are in top 20. Okay, they're going to get 20%. And then next 3 students, because they are 30% of the 10, right?
Yes.
Are going to get B. The next 4 students are going to get C, because they are 40% of the 10. And the next is going to get just D, 10%. This is how the grades are assigned automatically for all of the classes in the whole university. Okay, except ICT tools, because it is pass-fail course. For all of the subjects where you're going to get A, B, C, D, the grades are assigned automatically like this. Okay, by the system. No one can influence this. Okay.
Okay.
So at the same time, I need to tell you that all of the 4 grades A, B, C, D is also split into the 3 more. So it usually starts like, it usually starts like A plus, A0, A minus, So B plus, B0, B minus, C plus, C0 minus, and so on. And all of the grades, which are denoted by letters, have their numerical values as well. So for example, A plus is going to be 4.3 and D minus is 0.7. Okay, so this is really important to keep a note about the values, numerical values of all of the grades, because we're going to calculate something which is called the GPA using those values. Okay, so your scholarships, everything depends on the GPA. GPA is just one number which takes into account all of which represents actually your academic performance. Okay, so whenever you apply your documents later on to some job or to continue your studies in the masters, everyone in the world looks to your GPA if they would like to understand how was your academic performance. Okay, so in this lecture, we would like to quickly discuss how we usually can calculate the GPA. The GPA is grade point average. It is the weighted average of all of the grades which you take per one semester. Okay, so let me explain you what does it mean, the weighted average. So let's assume that I've got two students in this course, in this program, Ahmath and Hasida. So both of them are going to take these two courses, programming and English writing, but their credits are different. Programming is 3 credits, worth 3 credits, because there are 2 lectures and 2 tutorials, and English writing is just 1 credit. At the end of the semester, Ahmath has got 4.5 in programming and 3 in English writing. So let's say A plus in programming and C in English writing, and Hasila is vice versa. She's got like 3 in programming and 4.5 in English writing. So if you remember, do you remember how the grades are calculated in the school? So they're calculated more or less in the average way. So they just like, if you have 5, then just adding them and dividing this to the 4, it's going to be your average grade per quarter, right? Is it like this, more or less? So if we would calculate simply the average of the grades for Ahmath and Hasila, so what would be the average grade for Ahmath?
3.75.
What is going to be average grade for Hasila?
3.75.
3.75 as well, right? Because we just add the
Yeah.
grades and then just divide it to the 2, okay? But how fair is it to assign the same grade for both of them? Because like 3 credit means that Ahmath have to study more per week, attend more lectures, study more books, and so on, right? So, well, it is not really fair because it doesn't really takes into account so-called importance of the subjects, so-called credit of the subjects. So that is why people have figured out how to calculate something which is called the GPA, which takes into account the credits of the subjects as well. Well, in order to do this, what we have to do is we need to calculate one more column where we are going to multiply the grade of a subject into the credit, okay? For example, here, I'm going to multiply 3 to the 4.5, and I will get 13.5. 1 multiplied to the 3, I have to multiply them together, it's going to be 3. Well, what is next is, I'm just going to add these 2 numbers. And now, instead of just dividing them into the number of the subjects, which is 2, I'm going to divide them to the number of the credit units per semester, which is going to be 4 in this case, okay? And this is going to be 4.125. And if I do the same for Hasila, it's going to be 3.375. This is what we call as GPA, which is the grade point average, which is the average, weighted average of all of your grades, which takes into account your grade from a subject, and also your the credit of the subject, okay?
Yeah.
GPA is very important when you apply for the job or for the master's degree. Higher the GPA means the higher your chances to get admitted to the programs. But during your studies, GPA is important because all of the scholarships which you get during your studies during the semester really depends on your GPA. Okay, so we basically, do you remember? We sorted all of the students within one course and assigned the grades A, B, C, D. But once we've collected all of the GPAs, we are going to sort the students from the one who's got the highest GPA from the one who's got the lowest GPA. The highest ones, of course, are going to get the scholarships. The top 42 students are going to get the scholarships in this program, which can cover some portion of your tuition fee. So the top students are usually get 100%. Like some of the students are going to get 5% off from the tuition fees. And again, it really depends on your GPA. So foreign students are also eligible to apply for the scholarships as well. So previously it was not. So from I think previous academic year, we've decided that foreign students should also participate in this, because we have usually 20 Korean students every year in the medical department, medical school, and honestly, they are really good. So I think it really adds, like, so it makes the competition between the students really tight. Okay, so what we want is we would like to all of the students to compete for the grades, but we would like to do this in a fair and transparent way. Okay, you can apply for both scholarships depending on your IELTS score. If you have, for example, IELTS score more than 8, you can apply for 10% scholarship or something like this. Okay, and it applies always. So whenever you bring us the certificate of IELTS more than 8, you can get some scholarship, 7.5 also some percentage of the scholarships, and so on. Okay. So this is how we're going to organize our workload. We are going to have 2 lectures every week with the whole group. Like lectures are going to last 1 hour, but it means that we're going to have 50 minutes of the lecture, 50 minutes, 50 minutes of the lectures, and 10-minute breaks between the lectures. Okay, and we are going to have tutorials every week. Once a week, we are going to have tutorials, and the tutorials last 2 hours. So my TA for the semester is going to be Dr. ahmath. So he's going to lead all of the tutorials. And the general idea of organization of the course is like, we are going to discuss about the conceptual things during the lectures. And then when you come to the tutorials, you're going to simply solve the problem. So the tutors are going to just give you problems, and then they're going to go through the classes and ask the questions. You're going to get lots of practice there. So both lectures and tutorials are mandatory to come. If you miss more than 8 lectures, you're going to fail this course. If you miss more than 4 tutorials, you're going to miss this course. I would like to give you a couple of more advices that you need to study a lot at home. So this credit system, which tells you that you are going to have just 1 hour lecture in pre-calculus, doesn't mean that you need to study 1 hour per week. Okay, it means that you need to study a lot. So I remember, say, when I used to study in my bachelor's, I used to study a lot. So for many courses, we're going to finish this kind of big books, for example, for pre-calculus, for calculus, this kind of big books. And do you know that during the lectures, we cannot cover even just this portion of this, even like 50 pages. So they're going to, so 50 pages is usually covered in lectures, and the rest of the 1,550 pages are going to be covered by you at home. So I would like to really encourage you to study a lot at home, because it really depends on your grade, because it is not like in a school. So we are going to give you really concepts in the lectures. Okay. And in the exams also, some of the questions are going to be taken from the lectures directly, but some of the questions are going to be given to you to test your understanding of the concept, your ability to think analytically, creatively, to solve the engineering problems as well. And as much you read the books, you're going to improve those skills as well. Okay. Cool. So the evaluation structure for this course is going to be following, more or less. We are going to announce this officially. So more or less, you should know that 20% usually goes to the tutorials and the homeworks, and the rest 80% goes to the exams. Okay, so let's assume that Donny Orbek has got some grades, okay, in tutorials. For example, he's got 20 points out of 100 in tutorials. He has got like 85 in the midterm out of 100, and he's got like 90, or not 90, let's say 70 in his final. Okay, so at the end of the semester, when we are get this book, I need to tell you that sharing books electronically is prohibited. It is not allowed, actually. But we will try to share with you the link where you can download this book. Okay. And also some of the chapters of the books are going to be shared with you as well. I mean, like as a rule in academia, I say like sharing up to 10% of the content of the book is considered like okay. But sharing the whole book is prohibited. Again, I told you that we would like to create the international atmosphere. We would like to get a little bit different atmosphere than in the Uzbek universities. So let's try to at least pretend to follow this kind of rules, at least. I mean, about the books, I understand the books is really difficult issue. So professors usually can get the books, but students usually not. So we understand your situation. We will try to provide you with all of the learning materials. Okay. And in the future, we hope that we're going to have a huge library where you can come choose a lecture, choose a library and read the books, borrow the books there and read them there. So the library is also under construction. Oh, let's come back to this problem. What is going to be the grade of Danyar? So should we simply take the average of the three grades? He's got 20 in tutorials and a lot in exams. Should I simply sum the three numbers and divide it to the three? What do you think? Other group told me how to do this, by the way. Please feel free to ask questions. Well, we need to weight the grade, okay? So what we need to do is we need to multiply 20 to the 0.2, which is 20%, plus 70 to the 0.45, which is going to be 45%, plus 85 to the 0.35, which is going to be 35%, okay? So which is called the weighted mean. So for example, does someone has a calculator? Can you calculate this? It's going to be 4 plus 31.5 plus 29.75. 65.25. Okay, this is how we are going to calculate the grade for each student in every course. So you're going to get the grades for tutorials, for the exams, for the labs, and at the end, professors are going to weight your grades depending on their percentage in your evaluation structure, and then they're going to provide us the academic affairs, and the system is going to put the ABCD grades automatically. So I would like to ask you at the end of this lecture a couple of things that you need to be really active during the lectures. I really encourage you to be active during the lectures, because I used to teach statistics course for the 2 years. The first year students were really active. They gave me a lot of feedbacks during the lectures. You understand the feedback? So if you don't understand something, so just stop me and ask me so that we can discuss this in more details. This is what they did. And I think like the failing rate was about 5%. And then I teach the same course in the same way with the same content next year, where students were really passive and didn't ask any questions during the lectures. So I really didn't get any feedback. And I thought that the group is understanding everything really well. And at the end, 55% failed. Okay. So it is really important that you give me feedbacks every lecture, every week, every month. Okay, so try to be responsive as much as possible. I like this. Okay, cool. Okay, let's finish for today. So I just wanted to tell you about the pre-calculus, but we will discuss this next lecture. Okay, the pre-calculus. So telling you briefly that we are going to study more or less all of the things which you have studied in the school. It is going to be a good repetition from one side, but another side, we're going to look to many different mathematical concepts from the different angle, like how you can apply those things in your real life.